Hey friend, welcome back. This is the Daily Spark. Let's learn something fun today. I'm Ryan, and I have a quick confession to make before we even start. I am currently drinking my third cup of coffee, and I am completely exhausted.
Oh no, the dreaded third cup. That means it's been a very long day.
It really has. My brain is moving in slow motion right now. And you know what usually happens when I have a long day like this? I get home, I walk into my kitchen, and I just stare at the wall.
Just the wall? You don't even make it to the fridge?
Well, sometimes I open the fridge door, but I just stand there waiting. I look at the sad vegetables, hoping a hot pizza will magically appear.
But it never does it? The magic pizza is a lie.
Never. Instead, I see one soft carrot, some weird pickles, and half a bottle of ketchup. I look at this terrible combination, and I honestly just want to cry.
The sad, lonely carrot. I think we have all been there, Ryan. Actually, learning a new language is exactly like that feeling sometimes. You feel tired, you look at the English words inside your head.
Yeah, you just have a few basic words floating around in there.
Exactly. You think, I don't have enough energy to put a good sentence together. You feel like you only have a carrot and you need to make a gourmet dinner.
It feels like way too much work. You just want to give up. But here's the good news for today, friend. Cooking a quick, delicious meal and talking about it in English is actually easy.
Yes, when you know the right shortcuts, it is pretty simple. You don't need 100 fancy words, you just need a few good ones.
So let me ask you a very serious question today. Have you ever come home from work completely exhausted? You look in the fridge and you panic because you only have 15 minutes to make dinner?
Only every single Tuesday of my life. Honestly, sometimes Wednesdays and Thursdays too.
Right? It's the universal experience of modern life. Picture this. It's 6 o'clock in the evening. You're absolutely starving. Your stomach is making angry noises.
Oh, I know that angry stomach noise very well.
But your brain is completely empty. You have zero creativity left.
The zero creativity is definitely the worst part. You're so tired that you actually forget how food works. I will literally stand there with the fridge door open for 5 minutes.
Just staring into the cold light, hoping a hot meal will magically appear?
Exactly. I'll look at a box of dry pasta and think, what is this? How do I turn this hard stick into human food?
How do I turn this hard stick into human food?
Is this edible? Do I need fire? It's embarrassing. Last week, I stared at a sad, lonely carrot and a jar of mustard.
Oh no, please tell me you did not eat a mustard carrot.
I didn't, but I really thought about it. And this is exactly when people make bad choices.
Yes, this is when you eat a sad bowl of cereal for dinner. You stand over the sink eating cold cereal in the dark.
Or you do the other terrible thing. You spend $30 ordering a cold pizza on your phone.
Oh, the panic pizza. We've all ordered the panic pizza. You order it because you're stressed, not because you actually want it.
Exactly. But there's a better way. The 15-minute dinner is totally different. It's not just cooking.
No, it's a survival skill. It's a superpower.
It is about knowing how to open the fridge and throw a few things together fast, without stress, without a complicated recipe, and without panic.
And feeling like an absolute genius when it actually tastes good. When you pull off a great 15-minute meal, you feel amazing. You toss something in the pan, you smell some garlic, and suddenly
you are a professional TV chef. You want to hold up your plate to an imaginary camera.
Look what I created from a Mandem onion and some eggs. But seriously, talking about cooking in English shouldn't be stressful either.
That's so true. Sometimes cooking vocabulary feels very overwhelming. People think they need to know all these complicated, fancy words. But today, we're going to look at the easy words you actually need in the kitchen.
No French cooking terms today. No difficult dictionary words. Just the real, everyday English we use when we're hungry and tired. We're going to figure out how to beat the empty fridge panic together.
So picture this. It was Tuesday night. I got home around 8 o'clock. I was so tired. I opened the fridge. It was a total disaster. I literally had one sad carrot, some cheese, and spicy hot sauce.
Wow, that sounds like a truly terrible flavor combination.
Right? I was staring at the shelves, hoping food would magically appear. I had zero inspiration for a proper recipe. My brain was completely fried. I realized I was totally running low on groceries.
Ooh, running low on. That is such a perfect everyday phrase. Let's talk about how that actually feels to say. It means the fridge is not completely empty, not yet anyway.
Exactly. You're not totally out of food. You have a few things. It feels like a little warning light blinking in your car. You still have one or two random ingredients left on the shelf.
But the panic is definitely starting to set in. You feel that stress. You just stare blankly at that sad carrot. You've been there, right?
We definitely all have the kitchen stare. But honestly, sometimes that's exactly when the best magic happens.
What do you mean? Please tell me you did not eat a hot sauce carrot.
No. I decided to just chop the carrot into little sticks. I melted the cheese over them in the microwave, added the spicy sauce. I somehow managed to whip up a weirdly delicious late-night snack.
Ah, whip up. I absolutely love the sound of that phrase. Think about the physical energy of those two words together. It feels fast, it feels spontaneous. You're like a kitchen superhero.
Yes, it's not a slow, boring process. It's pure action. You don't spend hours cooking when you whip something up. It's like a quick magic trick. You rescue your dinner.
I do that all the time. You just throw random things together, you cross your fingers and hope for the absolute best outcome.
Well, that's the 15-minute dinner challenge in a nutshell. So here's your practical use it tomorrow tip for the kitchen. Tomorrow morning, say it out loud in English, "We're running low on milk," or "We're running low on coffee." Then try it in a real conversation. Text a family member, "I need to whip something up tonight. We're running low on everything."
But making that quick meal isn't just about what you have in the fridge, it's mostly about the clock.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you attempt the ultimate 15-minute lifesaver, good old dried pasta.
Yes. So let's look at a classic timing trap. You put a big pot of cold water on the stove.
And you just throw the hard noodles right in, right?
Please tell me you're joking. Honestly, I used to do that in college. It was a very dark time for my stomach.
It turns into a sad, sticky, clumpy mess. You must wait for the bubbles first.
Thank goodness you know that. Any decent pasta recipe will tell you this golden rule. You have to bring to a boil first.
Bring to a boil. Let's think about how this specific phrase feels. It feels like active patience.
Yeah, it feels like you're building anticipation. You don't just stare blankly at the water. You're literally guiding it.
You bring it up to that intense rolling heat. You make it boil before adding a single piece. Because if you rush the process, disaster strikes.
You end up with something overcooked.
The absolute worst. I really hate that feeling.
Overcooked feels like pure, heavy disappointment. It means you went way too far. The structure of the food just gave up.
You can overcook pasta, vegetables, or even meat. The result is always a culinary tragedy. It becomes mushy and lifeless.
The firm texture is completely gone. The rich flavor is totally washed out into the water. It just feels like a completely wasted effort.
Well, it's like chewing on warm, wet cardboard. Nobody wants wet cardboard for dinner.
That is painfully accurate. I mean, 15 minutes is a very fast timeline. 15 minutes is a very fast timeline, but you still need to respect the heat.
I dare you to stand by the stove tomorrow and command the water.
Command the water? Like some kind of magical kitchen wizard?
Yes, exactly like a wizard. Watch those tiny bubbles start to form. Point a wind spoon at the pot.
And what do we say to the pot?
Say out loud, "I will bring you to a boil."
I absolutely love that dramatic energy. Here's your practical use it tomorrow tip. Read the back of the pasta box carefully.
Then set a strict timer on your phone. Save your dinner from a sad, overcooked fate.
Yes, because this brings up a huge debate.
We actually have a very serious disagreement here.
We really do. We argue about this constantly. When you need a fast, healthy ingredient tonight, do you reach for fresh or frozen vegetables?
I think frozen veggies are a total lifesaver.
And I call them a sad kitchen compromise.
I strongly disagree. I say they are just as good.
Well, I think cutting corners is much more accurate.
Listeners, you can decide who is right today.
I will gladly let them be the judge.
Fine, but let's look at my first phrase. People use frozen food to save time.
Okay, let's explore the emotional grammar of that.
Saying you want to save time feels amazing.
It is not just about moving the clock.
No, it feels like a massive physical relief.
It really does. It feels like getting a gift.
You don't have to wash or chop anything.
You don't need a messy cutting board.
You literally just open a cold plastic bag.
When you save time, your tense shoulders drop.
It's the feeling of suddenly breathing easier.
You are avoiding all the boring prep work.
Honestly, you just boil some hot water and then you throw the icy peas in. See? You just saved yourself 20 whole minutes.
But are those icy peas actually just as good?
Absolutely. Let's talk about that specific phrase now.
Just as good. It feels a bit defensive.
I suppose it does feel somewhat protective.
You are basically saying, please do not judge me.
I mean, you are defending your quick choice.
You are claiming the final quality is equal,
Yes, you are demanding respect for your dinner.
even if the cooking method is much lazier.
Hey, I prefer the word efficient, thank you.
You know, it is a very confident statement.
Think about that for a second.
It takes real courage to serve frozen broccoli proudly.
Oh, it's not about bravery at all, Ryan.
It's about surviving a very busy Tuesday.
Exactly. It's about feeding yourself without stress.
I guess I can understand that cozy feeling.
So here's your practical use it tomorrow tip.
Next time you cook a fast, simple dinner,
Grab one frozen item to save time tonight.
and confidently tell your family it's fantastic.
Just tell them this is just as good.
Okay, so your frozen veggies are cooking nicely.
But let's be completely honest here, Ryan. Frozen peas can be pretty boring on their own.
They really can. They need serious help.
So imagine this scenario right now. You are standing alone at the stove.
You look closely at your pan. The food is warm, but it looks a little plain.
You know it needs something extra.
You grab a little salt, you sprinkle it in.
Then you grab some hot sauce.
You just add a tiny quick amount.
Boom.
You just created a tiny instant recipe.
Exactly. But how do we describe that magical amount?
We call that a dash of something.
A dash of. It feels quick and spontaneous.
Yes, it's not a careful measurement at all.
You are definitely not using a measuring spoon here.
Right, it feels like a quick flick of the wrist.
Like painting a picture, you add a dash of color.
Or a dash of salt to bring out the flavor.
It's the secret ingredient for busy cooks.
Just a dash of lemon juice changes everything.
Think about your favorite quick meal at home.
What's your absolute favorite secret flavor booster?
Soy sauce every single time. A tiny dash completely transforms everything.
What would you add a dash of? I bet someone just said garlic powder.
Oh, it's always garlic powder, honestly.
So, you added your dash of spices.
Now you have all these things in the pan.
Next, you have to mix it all together.
This phrase feels very satisfying, you know?
It really does. It feels like sweet completion.
Contrast this with just saying the word stir.
Stir sounds like a boring, endless chore.
Like slowly stirring a cup of hot tea.
But mix it all together feels like an exciting event.
You're actively combining every single piece.
All those separate items become one delicious meal.
You just take your trusty spoon and you mix it all together.
So here is your quick use it tomorrow tip.
Tomorrow, when you're making your morning coffee,
Add a tiny bit of cinnamon or sugar.
as you do it, say, a dash of cinnamon,
Then take your spoon and stir it up.
and tell yourself proudly, I will mix it all together.
So, you mixed that cinnamon into your morning coffee.
It smells absolutely amazing. But honestly, there's another step. We really eat with our eyes first.
Oh, we definitely do. Think about Japanese or French food cultures.
Presentation is a massive deal there.
Right. How a dish looks is just as important as the taste. They believe a beautiful plate shows respect for the ingredients.
And respect for the person eating it, too.
Even a quick 15-minute dinner needs some love. You don't want a messy, sad-looking plate.
Exactly. Which brings us to another great phrase. You want people to say, "It looks delicious."
Let's talk about how this phrase actually feels. It's not just a polite observation.
No, it's a huge compliment. It feels like a warm hug for the cook.
It's that magical anticipation before the first bite.
Imagine you didn't just boil some boring pasta.
You took an extra minute, you know? You decided to chop some fresh basil.
You sprinkled it right on top of the sauce.
That adds incredible flavor, obviously, but it also makes the bowl look vibrant and alive.
Picture carrying that beautiful bowl to the dining room. Your partner sees it.
They say, "Wow, that looks delicious."
It makes all your frantic rushing completely worth it.
When was the last time someone looked at your cooking and said it looked delicious?
Think about that for a second. There's truly no better compliment in the kitchen.
So here's your Use It Tomorrow challenge. Next time a friend or a family member cooks for you, look at the food and say, "This looks absolutely delicious."
Even for simple food, it will make the cook feel like a superstar. Which leads us to the grand finale of cooking. Our next phrase is ready to serve. I love this one so much. Saying this phrase feels like a movie premiere.
That is the perfect way to describe it. The curtains are finally opening.
The stressful cooking part is totally over. It is a feeling of pure relief.
You beat the 15-minute clock. You're literally announcing a victory to your family.
Dinner is ready to serve.
Contrast that with just yelling, "Food is done."
Ready to serve sounds so much more professional. It makes you sound like a real restaurant chef.
Even if you are just standing there in old sweatpants.
Oh, I'm usually wearing my oldest, baggiest sweatpants.
Same here, honestly. But the food still looks fancy.
So here's your Use It Tomorrow tip.
Tomorrow morning, make your simple everyday breakfast.
Put it on a nice, clean plate. Don't just eat it standing at the counter.
Set it down on the table gently. Look at your eggs or toast proudly.
And say out loud, breakfast is ready to serve.
It will make a basic Tuesday morning feel incredibly special. Let's gather all these fantastic kitchen words we used today.
First up on the list, you might have heard us say recipe.
Think of this word as your personal treasure map in the kitchen.
Exactly. Without a map, you are just wandering around, you throw random things in a pot and cross your fingers.
A recipe gives you the exact safe path to follow. It tells you what to do first, second, and third.
For your Use It Tomorrow moment, try saying to a coworker, "I found an incredibly easy recipe for chocolate chip cookies."
I would definitely volunteer to test that recipe for you anytime.
Next up, you might have heard us say the word ingredient.
If the recipe is your map, the ingredients are your physical supplies.
They are the actual individual food items sitting on your counter. The fresh tomatoes, the salt, the dry pasta.
When you open the fridge and stare at a lonely bottle of ketchup, you're desperately missing your ingredients.
Here's a perfect way to use it tomorrow. Fresh eggs are the most important ingredient in a breakfast omelet. Now, let's talk about our physical action words. You might have heard us say chop.
I really love this word. It sounds exactly like the action itself. It's sharp and quick.
Black, black, black.
You're taking a big, crunchy vegetable and turning it into tiny pieces.
You use a heavy knife and a sturdy board. It takes some real arm energy to do it right.
Use it tomorrow like this. Could you please chop these large carrots for the side salad?
I'll gladly chop carrots, but I absolutely refuse to chop onions. They always make me cry like a baby.
Fair enough, Ryan. Now, after you finish chopping, you might have heard us say boil.
Picture a heavy pot of cold water sitting on the stove. The fire is on. It gets hotter and hotter.
Suddenly, huge angry bubbles are rushing to the surface. Thick white steam is rising into the air.
The water is literally dancing and rolling around in the pot. That wild movement is when it boils.
Use it tomorrow by telling someone, we need to boil the potatoes until they're soft.
And remember, if you decide to microwave those potatoes to save some time, the result might be just as good.
That's another wonderful phrase from today. Just as good means the final quality is completely equal.
Finally, we arrive at the best word of the entire day. You might have heard us say flavor.
This is the absolute magic of cooking. This is the special element that makes your mouth water.
It's the experience on your tongue. It can be sweet, salty, perfectly spicy, or a little sour.
Without it, food is just boring, plain fuel for your body. You want your meal to sing a song.
When you add a dash of garlic or some fresh green herbs, you're building that delicious magic.
So use it tomorrow at the dinner table. Look at the chef and say, wow, this roasted chicken has so much amazing flavor.
That's a guaranteed, foolproof way to get invited back for dinner next week.
Well, we made it. We survived the empty fridge panic.
We did, and I hope you feel a little more relaxed about it now.
I definitely do. I mean, my stomach is growling, but I feel okay.
You know, speaking English is exactly like making a 15-minute dinner.
Oh, I like this. Tell me why.
Because it doesn't have to be perfect to be good. You don't need perfect grammar, just like you don't need fancy ingredients. You just throw together what you have and you communicate. It's like quick pasta.
That is so true. You just need enough words to feed the conversation. If you forget the word for boil, you just say, make water hot.
Exactly. People still understand you. The meal is served.
Remember our promise from the start. Cooking a quick meal and talking about it in English is easier than you think. You just need the right shortcuts. So here's your challenge for tomorrow. When you're in the kitchen, try saying what you're doing in English. Say, I'm going to chop the onion, or I'm waiting for it to boil. Yes, say it out loud. The vegetables won't judge your accent. I used to do this. I would explain my morning coffee to my cat. See, that's perfect practice. Your cat is a great listener. He really is. Anyway, tell us in the comments, what is your go-to 15-minute panic meal?
Yes, please share your secrets. I need new ideas. I can't eat eggs every night.
Same here. Now, looking ahead to next time, you know that frustrating moment? You have a brilliant idea in your head. You know exactly what to say. Oh no, I know where this is going. But the second you try to explain it to someone else, your mind goes completely blank. You forget every English word you ever learned. Ugh, the brain freeze. I hate that feeling. Your hands get sweaty. You just stand there saying, you know, the thing. Exactly. It happens to everyone. But don't worry, we have a plan. We'll talk about how to get your words back when you freeze. It's a very helpful episode. You won't want to miss it. This has been the Daily Spark Radio. See you next time.